G'day, and welcome to the TeamSFF show, podcast where hunting, fishing, and farming meet politics, common sense, and the occasional bad joke. Join Mark Banasiak, MLC, and Robert Borzak Jr. to dive into the issues affecting regional Australia, from public land access to gun laws and everything in between. Strap yourselves in, we're calling it how we see it.
I've had a clicker before, and it just kept fucking going.
Yeah, we don't trust them.
So we talked for about 30 minutes, which was really, really good.
Yes.
And then we realised we hadn't been recording at all.
I've done that.
I don't remember all the shit I said.
So many times.
It's so frustrating because we're not natural talkers like this. So when I did that, I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So here we are with Mike Atkinson. We saw Mike at the 4x4 show this weekend, which was awesome. Seeing your big canoe there was very cool. I saw a bit of your talk when you were going through the desert.
Yep.
That was pretty unreal. Did there. So thanks for coming along. We really appreciate it. And we wanted you to come and talk to us today just because obviously we're fans of yours and we love your content. And we also love what you're doing with the public land access stuff. And because you're out there seeing things that a lot of people don't see. And yeah, that's fantastic. Like, we love that you're shining a light on some of the changes that are, you know, worrying and obviously shocking to a lot of people that enjoy using public land. So thanks for coming along.
No worries. And I should say, like, I'm not affiliated with your party.
No.
I didn't even know what SFF meant. So it's like, I've got to be honest, like, my audience is probably fairly general, more towards the outdoors. And there'd be followers of mine that you guys might describe as greenies.
Yep.
It would probably be quite alarmed by me talking in front of a backdrop like that.
Yeah.
But that's okay because you should be able to talk to everybody. And I reckon we probably share 70% of the same views on stuff.
Yeah.
And, unless you can chat to everybody about everything, then you don't really move forward. So,
And look, that's a funny thing that you say that because my wife's a Kiwi. And when I'm in New Zealand, and people say, oh, you know, this guy's from the shooters party or whatever, or this guy's a hunter. And I talk to the greenies, you know, like in the family, because tramping is huge, like the outdoors is massive there. We have so much in common, and they actually are nothing like the greenies in Australia.
yeah.
Because they love the outdoors. They are in the outdoors. They're not just people that have outdoor in their brain.
Yeah.
So they're a lot more practical.
Yeah. Particularly on the South Island.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big times. So it's kind of like a uniquely Australian thing where we have that divide and we're supposed to have so much overlap. Whereas, because there's a reason why I believe that the first person to climb Mount Everest was a Kiwi, because they enjoy the outdoors so much.
Yeah. And they're hard and they're humble.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they call the mountains hills.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah. They're not hills.
Yeah.
They're bloody mountains. So thank you. Yes. And we appreciate you coming. So you have been going around Australia and pushing your boat out. Why don't we start with, how did that get started? Where did that idea come from? Because you have transitioned over into the online content about survival, outdoors sort of stuff. And you're teaching literally just, even your shorts are like teaching people great things. Like you're even identifying the knots that you're using. And that's the part that I love being a Boy Scout from when I was young. So I've always loved learning that stuff. So when did it start with the idea to build a boat, go nuts, and then now you're brought it home?
I can give you just like a very quick overview of, because it doesn't make sense without going from the beginning.
Sure.
I grew up in Canberra, lots of hunting and fishing. I used to shoot rabbits with a bow and I like to fish for trout and stuff all around the place, up down coast. And basically just love the outdoors. I watched the Bush Tucker Man. That was a huge influence. I thought I want to do what Les Hiddens does.
Yeah.
I watched Top Gun. I wanted to fly fighter planes. Decided I'd pursue that one first. And I kind of, long story short, I always did adventures as I was growing throughout all of this, but I basically got into the Army as a helicopter pilot because I didn't get into the Air Force the first time. I did survival instruction there because that was always my goal.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn, but I also wanted credibility. And, you know, the Army has the best survival training, formal survival training.
Okay.
The best survival training really is from Aboriginal people who maintain that cultural knowledge. But
100%.
that's what the Army North Force survival instructor thing is based on, is Aboriginal culture.
That's cool.
And so got lots of stuff there, transferred that into the Air Force when I transferred to the Air Force and flew jets, from small jets to big jets and fast jets. I instructed Air Force pilots, and then I ended up moving to Saudi. I made my first feature film about surviving in the Kimberley, where I went out, self-shot myself, self-edited.
That was after you left the army.
And no, that's why I was still, where was I? I was in Saudi Arabia. So,
Okay.
I did some of these things whilst I was in the military, and
Okay.
I pitched it to the ABC about doing a survival show.
Yep.
They said it got close. Apparently I got close with Discovery Channel, but you can never really trust what anybody says.
And what year was that?
Oh, we're talking way back in 2007.
Okay.
Yep. And I did some expeditions to the Kimberley that kind of failed because we were hit by a cyclone and stuff. So a lot of the things I do don't work, but I do pick pretty big things because I want the unknown of can I actually do it or not.
Yep.
And so I ended up in Saudi Arabia, thinking, right, I want to do this, see this goal. I need money, so I know how to wipe kids.
Yep.
And as a ex Air Force pilot, you can get employed by British Aerospace in Saudi Arabia to instruct Saudi pilots.
Okay.
And it's heaps of money and it's tax exempt.
Yeah.
So that gave me I could save up, get my house paid off, have some savings on top, and then jump into the unknown of filmmaking. But while I was there, I came back to Australia, made my first film in the Kimberley, self-shot.
And you've released that?
Yeah, it's been out since 2018. Yep. So I got on the Peninsula tour, went around the world, got a distribution deal out of that. Haven't really made any money out of it, but it kind of gives credibility. And the main thing is it's a learning experience.
Yep.
While I was there, that's when I tried to cross the desert with camels, a mother and a baby camel, and had some pretty crazy experiences.
Yeah.
But then I left there, came back to Australia with the plan that my next expedition, I'm going to place myself in the historic shoes of this shipwreck survivor who came ashore south of Townsville.
Yep.
He had all these tools, and he actually assimilated into Aboriginal society for 17 years, then re-assimilated into Aboriginal to white society when the Frontier War went through, and he wrote a book. So that's how we know what he had.
Wow.
His name's James Morrill. He wrote his own book. In fact, I've got my own podcast, Outback Mike Survival and Adventure Podcast, and his book is out of copyright. It's 17,000 words. So I just decided, I'm just going to read his book out as a podcast.
That's cool.
You can check that out. But he's got an amazing story. But I tried to escape his position using his tools. I researched where the nearest rescue haven was because I knew there was one on Cape York.
Okay.
So Governor Bligh actually set it up on Booby Island, which is near Thursday Island.
Yep.
And it's there because he actually, when he got booted off the Bounty, he sailed past in his longboat and he identified the need for it.
On the Tiwis?
No, Tiwis are Northern Territory. Yeah. This is Torres Strait. Yeah. So, there's this cave there called the Post Office Cave, and all the ships used to leave mail there. This is back from the 1700s.
Yep.
And then when Bligh became governor of New South Wales, which used to include Queensland, he plonked ship's biscuits and rum and all this provisions in the cave.
Yeah.
So you make it to the cave and then you'd survive until the next post office ship came through.
Wow.
So I just wanted to get there. And so I used the tools that this guy had, built a dugout canoe. I actually did it in my backyard in Nelson Bay. I took 14 months and then, I sailed up, towed it on a trailer back to the launch point south of Townsville, sailed 1,500 Ks up the Great Barrier Reef, 50 days, survival expedition, living up on land and sea.
Yeah.
Got the end of that.
Did you find the cave?
So, so I couldn't land on Booby Island because AMSA, Australian Maritime Safety Authority, it has, there's a lighthouse on it and it has buildings that have asbestos, and because of the risk management stuff, they wouldn't.
Oh, no.
But in a way, I was happy to have the excuse because it's downwind. If I'd got there, I never would have been able to get it.
Oh, okay.
So I got within a half day sail of it, knowing that I could have got there.
Okay.
So, but I ended up chartering a chopper and flying out there with a traditional owner and hovering right next to the cave and trying to put the camera in the cave because I wanted to see it.
Yeah,
and I wanted the audience to see it. So I always had the view that I'd make a film.
Yeah.
When I got back, I thought, man, if I'm going to write a book, I've got to write it about this.
Yeah.
That took a year. As I was writing the book, Alone Australia popped up. So that took 6 months out as a chunk.
Yeah.
Came back, finished the book, then toured with the book a little bit, then took the next couple of years to make my feature film, which I'm now touring with.
Yes.
So I released that a couple of months ago and toured from the Gold Coast anti-clockwise around the coast of Australia all the way to Esperance.
Yep.
Then zoomed back over here, just did the Sydney 4-wheel drive show.
Yep.
And now I'm about to announce my Sydney dates for the screening.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably going to be doing some more 4-wheel drive shows in and amongst those things. But just basically doing Southeast Australia with the film over the next 6 months.
And how's the reception been for the film?
Good. To begin with, it was low. It was small because I'm a one-man band. I edit everything and I've had to book all the venues and I really didn't have any time for marketing. Yeah. And as I went along, the momentum started to build because people saw it. And because I have my own social media following, that helps, right? And that's why I've been doing the reels for the last couple of years, to build up the following, to get people along. But then I had a guy jump in and volunteer to help me out. And now he's on helping me out a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm now kind of like a 2-man band, which is really helpful.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, it'll start to pay dividends, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Cool. Wow, that was a quick story.
Well, it wasn't that quick. Sorry about that.
So let me just ask, like you mentioned the wife and kids, and I saw in the film's called Modern Castaway.
Modern day castaway.
Modern Day Castaway.
Yeah.
And I saw your wife, you know, being upset in that trailer.
Yeah.
So how has that jived with the family life? For you being away all the time?
Well,
So because she'd be worrying her ass off, right?
yeah, when we met, I was an Army helicopter pilot, and on our second date, I took her to the Kimberley. We chartered a chopper, got dropped out on the coast, and walked back. She pretended to really enjoy camping and stuff a lot. Then after we got married, she's not a massively outdoors person.
Yep.
But she's still, we've trekked stuff in Nepal with the kids, and she comes along with stuff. But
Push from Canberra as well.
she did grow up there for a bit in Brisbane as well.
Okay.
But she's not like a camping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine, and she tolerates a lot of stuff, and she enjoys it as well.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to be uncomfortable. She doesn't want to sleep in an uncomfortable tent.
And not for a period of time that's more than a couple of nights or a weekend or something.
No, probably not even for one night.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually no. We did hike the overland track in Tassie and stuff. So yeah, she'll put up with it. But unless you kind of into that from a young age, it feels uncomfortable to go from modern comforts back to something like that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but she tolerates what I do, and she supports what I do, and I'm really grateful for that.
It's important to have that support.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wiring that goes on all the time.
Oh yeah,
from you.
And there's stress. Like I'm really focused before I go on an adventure, and then she's at home with the kids, and she works full time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is pretty stressful, but that's the package that you get.
Yeah.
And at least she knew it from the second date when I went to the kids.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah. It's funny because my wife said to me, because she grew up in New Zealand and in the North Island, and every Christmas holidays I would go from the bottom from Wellington up to the north part of the North Island, and they would just camp and they would fish for 10 weeks or whatever. That was every Christmas holiday. So it was super, super normal. And she told me that when she met me in Sydney, she's like, it's weird because when I met you just over 10 years ago, you didn't tell me you're into hunting. You didn't tell me you camping, outdoors, any of that sort of stuff. You were just someone that I met in Sydney, in the city. You're playing lots of sport, and then now 10 years later, all you want to do is go hunting, and all I do is worry about it when you're not here, and I have to deal with everything. I was just like, well, I thank you for putting up with the change. And because I think she said you only told me when I met your parents that, oh, by the way, hunting, blah blah blah. So just be ready for that. And yeah, so I know what you mean. Where it's important to have someone that supports you behind you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, originally, my wife didn't want me to go out. My brother-in-law and get into shooting and hunting, and then I blew my ACL out playing soccer, and then
That's right.
Smoking around the house, and the wife was just like, just take him. He's done to me feet. But yeah, same thing. Like being away with work, obviously, and then on top of that, when I want to get a break from work, I want to go out bush and just totally switch off that part of my brain that is work. And she's a gem for supporting me in doing that. Just she knows when I come back, I'm much more focused.
Yeah, absolutely. And the partners that restrict their partners from that, it's just they're not happy guys.
No.
Yeah.
And no one really talks about that. Like now, obviously we're talking about us here as men here with partners, and men's mental health is something that's coming back now as something that everyone's talking about again. And there is something about that primal side of outdoors, of fresh air, of real vitamin D, of seeing the stars, that you can't replicate that any other way. You can't get that with drugs, with alcohol, with betting, with anything like that. And it's just such a shame that we live in such a vast country. We have every kind of climate we can imagine. We have alpine, we have rainforest, we have desert, we have all of it. And yet still people aren't encouraged enough to be pushed into those spaces. Like they used to be, like I said, when I was a Boy Scout as a boy, that was teaching us outdoor survival skills. So hunting was a logical next step for me. It was like, sure, I know how to set up camp now, but this is kind of like staying in a hotel when you're on holiday. It's like, so I know where I'm sleeping. What are we doing next? And then it's, of course, you learn all the bushwalking and navigating and all that sort of stuff. It's like, all right, but what are we doing next? So that was kind of what picked it for me. And as Mark said, you are a different person when you come back. even if you've struggled, like I got lost on a mountain in New Zealand for a night and thought I was going to get stuck there in the dark, in the freezing cold on the side of a mountain. I was ready to pull out the bivy bag, but I just kept climbing. And, but that was fantastic. Like when I got back, I was shattered. I was super stressed all the way. And once the adrenaline dumped, then all of a sudden I'm like, that was awesome.
That's the story of every adventure. Yeah. That's real adventure. You don't enjoy real adventures normally, but that's okay. Like, we always have this thing in modern society where if I'm not having fun, I'm doing something wrong. It's like, no, it's good to go out and be like uncomfortable, tired, scared, thirsty, hate it. It's okay to hate it. The day you get back, or normally just as I'm getting back to the car, I'm already dreaming up the next one.
That's always the way. On the drive back,
you're not enjoying it in the moment.
No.
But when you get back to a more comfortable place and just thinking about going, yeah, that was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I tested myself. I saw things that other people would never have seen.
Yeah.
And
that's how we evolved in the landscape, being challenged like that all the time, having to go out and hunt for your family, and you don't know whether you're going to get it, and you've been starving for 3 weeks, and then you finally get that kangaroo or the mammoth or whatever, and everyone's eating. Like, it's just that's life. That's how life should be.
Well, that's how exactly. That's how we evolved, and we basically haven't stopped since then. Yeah, we just had technology take over.
And that's one of the aims of my film tour and even my book. Like, so yes, I do want to make money back so I can keep doing this kind of thing, but one of those things is to get that message across that you're missing out if you don't get out there. And that's another reason why with my film tour, I do it in schools where I give them a free school talk, and then they let me use the gym, and that gives you a chance to get to the kids and also show the kids that it's okay for it to suck. It's it's not almost supposed to suck, but don't feel like you failed if you're on a camping trip and it sucks.
That's a resilience building that kids need.
Yeah,
but just because it gets tough doesn't mean you just give up and then move on to something else that's a little bit easier. You push through it, and it's
exactly
an achievement. Pushing through the uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I remember back to going to scout camps down in Camp Coots down in Worth in Waterfall. That's always, we had like a region and zone camps down there, and it was, yes, we're in camp, and yes, this is fun, but then like I would always burn my fingers on the sticks, or I'd always step in the creek and my boots full of water, and back then there were no waterproof boots, so I had freezing cold waterlogged boots all weekend, and it's like, no, that was fun, but afterwards I loved it and I was ready to go back next time. And then seeing, so my mother is still a scout leader. She's been a scout leader for 60 years or something. Wait, maybe not 60, maybe it's 55 years. But she just got the highest award in scouting or whatever. And I brought my young daughter down to visit her because she's too young. She started Joey's now. But I brought her down to visit them at the regional camp down there, or the zone camp now, as they call it. And I was watching, no phones. The beauty of that camp is it's so low in a valley that there's no phone reception. So no one's got their phones. And it was kids doing peer support type activities that you just don't see anymore. They're not playing sport. So even if they want to be on their phones, they can't. And they were doing things like abseiling. And there was one activity that I saw where it was, they had milk crates and they had a big tree, and they were trying to while they had a harness and ropes on, they were, as a team of 3, they were basically belaying that kid to see how many crates he can go up. And I was walking around watching all the activities, and I stopped at the station and just watched for a little while. And there was 3 young boys, they must have been 12 years old, and they're trying to get to the top to break the record or whatever, right? And these boys thought they were pretty hot shit. And one of the boys who was up there was like, I can't do it anymore. And seeing his mates talking into, you can do it, Barry, you can do this and that. It was, honestly, it brought a tear to my eye. Being like, those kids are still out there. They're out here in the bush, camping, supporting each other, doing something positive. And I'm just like, because we hear so much bad stuff about the younger generation being too technologically, absorbed. And then just seeing that, I'm like, oh my goodness, there is hope. There is hope. And that's the funny thing about social media, how it is kind of a double-edged sword. Like, you're out there doing your thing, getting the word out about getting out there. But there's a lot of people that spend too much time on their screens. So that's kind of the benefit of it. Like, that's what social media should be used for.
You can use it in a very positive way. It's fantastic for research. And as soon as you start wondering about some topic, like, I don't know, like, how do I tie this knot? You click on one, and then it starts telling you more about all the other knots you can tie. So, like, aside from, yes, it can send you down a terrorist rabbit hole, but it can also send you down an awesome camping educational journey.
100%, yeah. Like when people talk about doom scrolling, how they're flicking through reels and stuff, my algorithm is awesome. Like, I have so much informative- yeah, I have so much informative stuff. I'm like, I'm not like zoned out at all. I'm like save. So
I actually find it quite cathartic at night to just watch these guys build these random shelters out in the bush, out in the snow,
Yeah.
and I'm just going, that's so cool. Like how they've just come up with different designs and
And that's what's so cool about people who have been in similar situations to you, coming from alone, and they start these survival pages, and we see them in all these different environments. There was that one really, really big guy who just announced he was retired.
Outdoor boys. Yeah.
He was the one who would literally light a fire and sleep on it.
Yeah. He was an American guy with the family. Yeah. He was really good. Yeah.
And there was like public online warning for his page closed. Like, stopping.
Yep.
I'm like, I love that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we should be mourning, is someone doing so much good for people, learning outdoors and stuff, and then now it's gone. So
it was very wholesome, and he used to always take the piss out of stuff too. Like he'd be with his son, and he'd be like pretending to be like, not abuse his son, but like just making jokes about how he doesn't care for his son. Obviously he does, but he was just taking the piss out of the people that would go, "Oh, how dare you take a young toddler around like that?" Yeah, he's a really great guy.
Yeah, cool stuff. So let's move into then about because obviously you came onto my radar in a big way when I started seeing videos of you when ghost camping came up and the rise in rates in national park camping, because that's obviously that's a network that you access a lot, right? Is national park. So how did that sort of come onto your radar and you started saying, we need to like talk more about this?
Sure. Well, I'd seen it pop up a few times. This is about a year and a half ago or something like that.
Yep.
I'd seen people talking about ghost camping, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then I wanted to take the kids scan, and I grew up in Canberra, so I was skiing all the time.
Yeah.
And I slept in my car or most of the time camped.
Yeah.
So like if we went downhill skiing, it would be like camping, and we'd scab tickets, have a wire and tickets. We'd walk around at 2 o'clock and look at the people coming back with sore feet and clip the ticket. And we camped on the cheap the whole time, and it was always free, and there was no booking system.
Yeah.
So I went to go book that place, and it was booked out, and it was Island Bend campground, and it's massive. It's not the runway there. I'm like, how the hell can that be booked out?
Yeah,
it's impossible for you to imagine that campsite is full. But anyway, the only one left was this one at Threadbow Diggings. So like, I'll take that one. I don't really want to go there because it's too populated, that valley for me. Anyway, but I said, if I get there and it's like mostly empty, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. I might put a reel out, but I'm like, I don't really want to criticize national parks. Everyone thinks I'm a whinger and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I kind of got there, and I just made that video.
Yeah.
It's just two. Like I filmed one bit, and then I filmed another bit, and I put it out, and I was like, and then anyway, it blew up.
Yeah.
And by the next day, a ranger kind of came up sheepishly and asked me something about like, something. I can't remember what it was, but I'm like, I think he'd seen a reel, and they put a thing out. And so,
oh really?
I'd say that there'd been some heat in national parks, and they'd gone to the campsite to see how full it was, and they'd sent a ranger to check. Anyway, so from there, I think that's got like 2.5 million views on it or something. And I just started people would ask me questions, and I had to go and research that to get the answer. And I made other ones about camping as well, like and I just ended up having to research answers so I could get back to people. And then media started coming in all the time saying, "Oh, do you want to talk about this?" And so I did. I don't know, probably done more than 100 media stories on that, whether it's radio interviews, TV, like The Project, lots of stuff. Yeah. And so because of that, like if you're going on TV, the worst thing is to go and say something incorrect. Yeah. Like, national parks are going to close 50% of campgrounds if that's not true. Like you've got to, for their respect, you've got to get your facts right. Yeah. And so I guess I'm just well researched just because I don't want to look like an idiot now.
And what did you discover?
Well, for that one, when you look at because I was now on the radar, it must have been about a year later, they sent me, to their credit, I just got an email from this guy in National Park saying, "Hey, look, we're looking at this proposal. Do you mind having a look at it?" And I was flat out trying to get my film finished and all that kind of stuff. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going up with CPI. Oh, that seems right. And then I looked at it again. I'm like, someone was bugging me
Yeah.
So then I went down and I made a reel. I shot the reel just saying I was a little bit concerned. And then I came back and I was editing the reel and I was like, hang on a second. They're actually going to put this fee on all of these ones that have never had a fee.
Yeah.
And then I emailed them back and I said, hang on a sec, can you confirm this, and this? And then the answer I got back, I'm like, oh my God. So that's when I made a reel going, look, it's hard to be positive about this.
Yep.
But this is really bad.
Yeah.
And then that one went off.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was hidden.
And it was hundreds of dollars that was going up.
Yeah, but the main thing is it was on all these places that have never had them.
Yeah.
Like the majority have never had fees.
Yeah.
Never had a booking fee. Not a booking fee, a camping fee. They're two separate things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that one got a fair bit of traction as well.
Yeah.
So it should. And so then the minister got involved, and she mentioned me in Parliament or something. And when all that was happening, people said to me, "Oh, you should do a petition." Stuff, and I didn't even know. Of course, I know what a petition is, but I had no idea of that process, and I didn't have time because I was flat out.
Yep.
You know, I'm supposed to be booking my own stuff. And, and then finally at the end, I thought, okay, I'll do a petition, and that kind of happened after all that massive media storm.
Yeah.
So I put a petition out with 3 simple statements. I think they were: they need to increase the amount of campgrounds commensurate with visitation, get rid of the booking system for the places that didn't have one before COVID, because we never bloody needed one.
Yeah.
And the decision makers in parks don't know what it was like before COVID because they weren't in the job then.
Yeah.
You know, like, so this is from personal experience. And I do appreciate the fact that National Parks reached out, and we still do have 2-8 comms. So that's good. I don't want to just can them for the sake of counting them. So good on them for
asking normal questions. You're wanting normal responses. Like it's all common sense stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's good. And it's also good that the minister, she ended up getting in contact. We had a phone conversation. She listened.
Yeah.
Mind you, just because she listened,
Let's make sure doing anything.
that's right. Exactly. And that's why I'm still on it, because I just want people to know, okay, we have no control over what National Parks does. We just don't.
No.
But we do have control over the government. And the government, like Penny Sharp is the one, that the state New South Wales Environment Minister is the one that will decide what to do with that proposal.
Yeah.
And we just need to watch what she does and decide whether we want to vote for him next time.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't want to be rude to her, but that's how democracy works.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I think, the proposal, you know, as it stood, you know, really detracts away from some of the beauty of being able to go camping.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember during COVID, you know, being told, oh, if you want to go camping for Swift National Park, well, this is like basically the red dot on the ground. You must camp there. That, for me, that takes away some of the romanticism of camping. Is like, part of it's finding that choice spot that might be next to a river or might be secluded in the bush. You know, beautiful surrounds. For me, that's one of the best parts of camping, is finding that unique choice spot that's maybe your own.
Yeah.
And to bring it down to a transactional sort of, you know, way of thinking. On you pay your fee, you camp at this spot, you can't deviate. Yeah, it takes away some of the joy of actually being out in the bush.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and what it really worries us about is, you know, we've always talked about that they never blatantly say we don't want people accessing the public land more, and they're not actively encouraging it like we think they should be. So that always says to us, so why are they doing that? So, like, where did this agenda come from? You want people not to enjoy their public spaces, and that's where we start to get worried, and that's where we start saying, well, no, you need to give us answers on this, because you should be saying these are our national parks. These are the places where people who can't, or who don't want to, or can't afford to go to the more expensive resorts or whatever, they want to have a good old-fashioned Australian holiday. Like back in the 60s and 70s, Royal National Park was always choppers. People would just drive their cars down the highway, maybe in those kind of spaces. And then now we're hearing this track's closed, this gate's closed, this campsite's caught up like crazy. It's like, what's going on here? It should be the opposite, especially coming out of COVID.
And look, ghost bookings are a thing, but the solution isn't to jack the prices up and make it unaffordable. As you said, one of the solutions is to open up more spots commensurate with how popular it is.
And the busy ones on the coast, they have had a beast for a long time, because there's limited space. And so you kind of do need to get a bit further away before you can, I think, have that ability to pre-camp.
Yeah, and they need it because there's more work on the park that needs to get done. I get all that.
And I think there's probably got to be some scalability too, in terms of, you know, if you've been reasonable in terms of those fees. Like if if there's a site that's got, quite a lot, a lot of good amenities, showers, toilets, box, all that sort of stuff, you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more for something like that. But if it's all you're getting is, remember those old school shitty little barbecue, hot plate things, and it's just all open.
And but there also should be an option nearby that. So if there's one campground and it's got showers and it's $89 a night, there needs to be another campground within a few Ks that's just got a barbecue. Sorry, no, that's just got a dunny. That's it.
Yeah.
And so the poor person can camp there. The rich person can camp there. But by increasing all the facilities, the poor people have to keep driving further and further away. And now they can drive almost nowhere because there's going to be fees everywhere.
Well, that's right. You look at some of the prices proposed, and it's just like, I might as well just get an Airbnb.
Exactly.
If you're talking about taking a whole family for a week's camping, you might as well just get an Airbnb.
And that was a real I did in Woody Head National Park. It was the fees to camp there would have been $675 for a week, and you could get a 3-bedroom house with garage just outside the park, and that one went viral too, of course, because it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And that just kind of smacks of the city style politics coming in. Again, I'm always drawn back to what's going on. Like I'm always worried that people aren't getting more encouraged to enjoy the Australian outdoors and getting pushed this side of it. Like especially in New South Wales, getting pushed to the coast. We kept in the coast, and we should be out there enjoying more public spaces. So that's why we love you, using your megaphone to talk about those things.
Yeah, and I think it's what I found too when I obviously got into Parliament and started looking at a lot of these issues and looking at access issues. Just come across all these convoluted rules between the different, not just national parks, but just all the different ownerships of agencies that own land. So Crown lands, maritime, water.
Yeah, that's a whole other level.
And it's just, there's this tangled web of who owns the land and what they'll allow to do on it, how you can access it versus others. And it's just like, that was part of the reason why, I created this inquiry into public land access, was to try and untangle some of that.
The one with Tony.
Yeah, well, speaking to Tony about it. It came from his petition.
Yeah, right.
And we've been sort of talking about it in the background for quite a while, and I just went, let's broaden it beyond national parks. Let's let it all public land, so we can open up some, other areas.
And they were receptive to that, the government.
Yeah, they were receptive to that, and that's running now. I think we've got about I think close over 300 submissions so far that have been processed. So it should be good if we can untangle some of those convoluted rules that exist. Particularly for people like yourself that have these adventures and travel and will be traversing across different land tenures. It'd be good, for some of those rules to be a little bit more.
I almost think we need a new definition, a new class, a new tenure of land, like the Great Koala National Park, which my wife runs a koala sanctuary. I'm a koala rescue volunteer. There's a lot of great things about that for koalas, which are on the endangered species list in New South Wales, ACT, and Queensland. But there's a lot of people who are against that, and there are reasons where I don't like the idea either. So I don't think national park is necessarily the right tenure for that. Like it needs something that, I do think it's best if we don't log it, but we need something that protects something from commercialized mining, logging, whatever, but still allows public access and which is good for the ecosystem. If you have people in there hunting, removing invasive species, if it can be traditionally burnt, which encourages the grass growth, it decreases the tree density. So now you've got more animals and less severe bushfires. Like everybody benefits from that. So national parks is really, in a nutshell, I think the mentality is put a cyclone fence around it, ban access.
Basically,
nature takes its course, and that is a European construct that leave no trace. It's well intentioned. A man should not touch nature, but
it's not born from reality.
Not in Australia.
No.
Yeah, in Europe, fair enough. But in Australia, Aboriginal people were managing it for 11,500 years with traditional burning, and it massively increased the biodiversity and biomass of those. And there was far less severe bushfires, and that's good for everybody. And so New South Wales National Parks are finally getting on board with that. Queensland National Parks, when I researched that thoroughly for my Great Barrier Reef expedition, and particularly the traditional burning side of it. So in 2020, when I was approaching them, the traditional owners up there were telling me that Queensland National Parks were obstructionist with their traditional burning. In 5 years, they're now facilitating it. And like the same traditional owners, like, they're good, they're coming out, they're helping us. They're fully on board with it. And I walk around Lamington National Park, which is in southeast Queensland, and there's a bunch of rangers in the car park. And I said, "Oh, what do you guys think of traditional burning?" And there were 6 of them, like, "Oh, it's really good." They just recorded a new species, a species of parrot or something that hasn't been heard here for 6 months, and they burn it like a few years ago, and now it's back. If I mention that in a car park in New South Wales, they don't have a clue that this is National Park New South Wales National Park Rangers, and I ask every single one I have access to.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, they know nothing more about it than the average Joe," and all they do is tell you reasons why. "Oh no, I couldn't do that." Then,
Oh yeah. If people see smoke from Sydney, in the mountains, they're like, they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. But to their credit though, they are just starting to do it. So I know Aboriginal people who work for traditional burning outfits, and then now being just given permission to do stuff in New South Wales National Parks. Our council in Port Stephens is allowing it as well, and already it's like you can see the side of the bush, of the fire trail that they did it. And there's more animals, more grass. It's easier to walk through. Every single organism in that area is happy. And on this side, it's still choked up and crap.
And when you say traditional burning, that's burning that fuel load.
It's not. Okay, so hazard reduction is very different to traditional burning. The definition of hazard reduction, the only KPI, the key performance indicator, is how much hazard we can reduce. Traditional burning is, yes, it does reduce hazard, but the main benefit is it's burned at a certain time where it creates more desirable plants and animals.
Okay.
So you burn it at just the right time of year before this one seeds, so you can actually control what vegetation.
That's what
Yes, it's considered cool burning. And so you do that at that time of year in small patches, and it will promote the grass growth, reduce the density of the trees. So like in national parks, all the trees are all touching each other. So once it gets up in the crown, it'll spread really easily. Traditional burning, it'll be much harder to get to the ground because there's almost no understory. And that is how Captain Cook described it. I've got pictures of where he went to Cooktown. He described it as grassy hill. His artist drew it as grassy hill, and I used shots in my film where I have actual photos, black and white photos, showing it was mostly covered in grass. And now I know European management is jungle, right? And there's no kangaroos on the hill because there's no grass. You don't get grass eaters where there's no grass. So, and you can't walk through it. Like most of the New South Wales national parks, you can't walk through it. It's so dense.
But it's a false dichotomy where they think a thick forest is a healthy forest. When that's so not the.
It's not healthy.
Certain species of tree need that space to grow to their potential. Which is basic biology.
It is. And the kangaroos in that, they don't have grass to eat in the national park, so they come out on the farmland. So, I mean, really, I don't think any Australian would be worse off under a traditionally managed landscape. So I think it's a good news story that we just, and yes, it is sweet. Like federal parks acknowledge that it's the best way of managing land. It's just the southern state ones, New South Wales, ACT, Victoria, Tasmania, that are just in that colonial past a bit. It's well intentioned, but it's just not based on the ecology of Australia.
Okay. All right. Can I thank you for that education, and that's great to hear that they're doing.
It's slowly.
Awesome. Can I ask you a little bit about when you've been around Australia on your canoe, and we see you?
And I've got to say, I'm driving with the canoe.
Of course.
The only bit I did on the canoe.
I was thinking you sailed into Brisbane.
No, that's right. No, but some people do. Yeah, because they see it and they think I've sailed around Australia.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I stipulate that.
I just sailed around Australia, but
they suck.
So I have a couple of detailed questions about that. So you've got a solar panel on there. Is that how you just keep yourself online? Is that how you keep yourself?
Oh, that's how I charge my camera battery.
Yeah.
And also,
but other than that, you're completely, I know you have a wool around a spear.
So the other thing about the solar panel is that I took an electric engine like a fisherman use for emergencies. And the only reason I took that is because when I did my test sail, I had to get rescued by the New South Wales cops. Something broke, and I was just like, I've already used up my brownie points for rescue. Massively embarrassed that I've been, that I've had to waste public time. It was pretty easy. Like I called for rescue at like 2:00 in the afternoon when I could pretty much see the rescue boat over there, instead of waiting till 2:00 in the morning and pulling them out. But anyway, I just felt really bad, and so I took that as a safety measure. So those panels were to also charge that, but it took like 4 or 5 days to do it. So it was only there as a backup.
Do you carry an e-curb, obviously?
Oh yeah, I went. I had a PLB on my life jacket all the time. An e-curb in a boat and a satellite tracker, a Zoleo, that I would send my location twice a day to my mum. So that way I forgot even where I cry.
To mum.
Yep.
Not your wife, your mum.
Yeah, that's a deliberate thing. So that allows my wife to forget about me. So the way she copes is she just forgets about me by concentrating on food, on the kids, work, and she drinks more wine.
Yeah.
And the way I cope is I try to forget about my family so I can just focus on survival.
Yeah.
I don't take a satellite phone because if I have an argument with my wife, if I'm thinking about that at 2 o'clock in the morning,
distract
me from thinking about what I'll do tomorrow if the wind switch is on shore.
Yeah.
That's how we both kind of deal with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So my mum looks at the pings that come in each day, and the instructions were, if you don't see that any ping for 3 days, then call the cops.
Okay.
And that way, if I got eaten by a croc, and you can't set a honeypoo when you're being attacked by a croc, they'd have a narrow search area. So it was partly for my safety, but also just because I didn't want to bugger the authorities to have to search all the way a massive part of coastline.
How were the crocs when you're on the water?
In
In the water, they're okay.
the water, I know.
But on the shore, they're like, when do they bug you the most?
Well, it depends what you're doing by bug. They don't. Sometimes they bug you. As in, like in the Kimberley, I've had crocs come up and like aggressively, go backwards and forwards like that. That's quite unusual.
Yeah.
But it does happen. It happens more in the Kimberley, I've found. But normally they're just a threat. And so when you get to any new place, they slide into the water. So whenever I'm going, particularly to a place that I'm camping, I try to, like if I'm on a boat arriving somewhere, I'm like eagle-eyed because they'll just slip into the water.
As soon as they detect you,
Yeah. And so the reason they're slipping into the water is, one, to protect themselves, maybe, or also so they're just going to sit there and ambush.
Yeah.
So I was seeing that at different places, and when that happened, I would put the hatch. I slept inside the log on a hammock, and when there was crocs that slipped into the water, I'd put the hatches back over as well.
Yeah.
So in case they climbed up on board, and I left a gap so I could slide a knife up through in case they did come on top.
Yeah.
Because they do that. They chase people up trees. Like the traditional owner, one of the traditional owners I interviewed, said he came across an island up there and he saw a kayak sitting under a tree and he saw a croc next to the kayak and looked up the tree and there was a sea kayaker up there and he'd been up there for 3 days, almost about to fall out, right? No water and stuff.
And the croc's just waiting
for it. Yeah. So I knew that if one came up on my canoe and it's pretty low to the water, I had to have some way of getting them off.
Wow.
I never had to do it though.
Wow. Okay. So when you're towing it around Australia, and you're berthing it, are you kind of seeing how long you can last in those areas?
Yeah, it's kind of a publicity stunt. In each capital city, I launch it on the water in that area. So I did Brisbane River, Darwin Harbour, and Swan River. Yeah. Go to Sydney Harbour in about 2.5 weeks' time. So I launch it, and I use the same stuff that I was surviving with. I got my spear, a basic fishing gear, and I try to live off the land, trying to comply with all the environmental restrictions that we have. And rather than listen and moan about that, like we do need environmental rules. Yeah. And so it's
are there any rules about using your fishing spear and stuff like that?
Lots. So, yeah. Well, for example, in the Swan River, because it's estuarine, it's illegal to use a spear. And then I was about to drop my line in the water, and I was so busy, I was just kind of Googling the rules just before I did everything. Yeah. And I'm like, now I need a fishing license because I'm fishing from a boat. It's the same here. So I was like, I'm only here for like 2 hours. It's $40. Just on principle, I hate the idea of a fishing license. I think it's a total load of crap. So, yeah. And so almost on principle, I didn't. So I'm in Sydney Harbour, it's full of rules. Yeah. For a reason, it's a lot of people, like you can't get shellfish on the North Shore. Yeah.
But just dropping a line in the water, you shouldn't have to pay for that.
No way.
No
way.
No.
It's amazing too. I mean, I love fishing for trout, but it's an invasive species. And it's amazing.
Different story.
Yeah. But there's still, there's rules about fishing for trout. You can't keep an unsized trout. It's like, it's weird. Yeah. But generally, you shouldn't be charged for dropping a line in the water.
No. So what were the rules with the spears? No spears at all? That's a result to the fishing.
It had to be on the open sea. And I was in the Swan River, so I could use it.
Okay. So how do you work your spear on the open sea?
Oh, as in because I was
from the boat, or how are you?
Well, I wasn't in the open ocean.
I was not in the river system. You're outside the harbour, sort of thing.
Yeah, I had to be outside the river.
Yeah. Sorry, outside the river.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's that skill been developing? Like,
it took me, you mean personally?
Yeah, like just.
So before I did
the natural or the native techniques.
Yeah, so I trained for 1.5 years at throwing the spear before the expedition, and I'm okay with it. I'm nowhere near as good as Aboriginal people, but I have there's a shot in my film where I nail a mullet from 15 meters away through the head. It was total luck that I got through the head, but I still nailed it.
Yeah, nice.
And that was no fluke.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to develop that skill as a personal. I don't know. You know how it's just rewarding. Like the same way I used to hunt rabbits with a bow when I was a kid.
It's the same as bow.
It's like
you've got to keep it up. You've got to practice it.
But there's something about it when you're stalking an animal. It is just what we've done.
Yeah, I know. It just feels right.
And it's guilt free when you going for an invasive species.
Yeah.
I actually went to, Clay Hayes. He won season 8 of Alone in the Shot of Deer. He's a very experienced. He's got a big YouTube channel.
He shot a whitetail. That's right.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he read my book and he invited me over, and I hung out with him and his family for 2 weeks on an elk hunt in Idaho.
Wow.
And I just basically wanted to answer the question: how does he justify taking native animals?
Yep.
He works for the Idaho Fish and Game Department. He has a degree in ecology.
Yep.
And he's a hunter. So I just wanted to test both sides of that.
Yep. Yep.
And their tag system. He's very confident in their tagging system manages the.
They've actually recovered many species from the brink through the tag system.
Yep.
So they obviously have a very different system to ours, which from an Australian perspective is hard to understand, as you say, hunting natives, and it's hard to drive that. But they have an ecosystem that was set up, and then people came along. Like the whitetail were only in the north of their country, or was it the south? But then as the people moved, the whitetail and the coyotes moved with them. So now the whitetail are in all 48 continental, 49, whatever it is, states, and so are the coyotes.
Yeah.
So they have to manage those species all the time. And I think it was the elk, the turkey, and maybe it was one of the sheep, one of the big old sheep.
Yeah.
Through the tag system and the season system, that's basically how they bounce them back. I'm sure he told you all this.
Yeah. In fact,
It's amazing what they've done.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video about it on my Outback Mike YouTube channel. Clay Hayes is a great guy to follow.
Cool.
On social media.
Yeah.
Makes great stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So that tag system, I reckon we should be eating kangaroos in Australia, for a whole bunch of different reasons.
Yeah.
But like obviously the common species, but like the tag system for kangaroos, so much like the argument that I'm an animal lover because I don't eat kangaroos, but then you eat sheep, which you have to clear a monoculture of land.
Yeah.
And to have it's better to harvest kangaroos from the bush.
Yeah.
In general, obviously there's space for everything.
Yeah.
But I just find that harder argument to argue.
Yeah. Look, there's also this mentality too. If you go out and hunt your own food, that you somehow got this unfair advantage over the animal. That you're hunting. It's just like it's so not far from the truth. You take deer hunting, and so like the deer, incredible sense of smell, incredible sense of hearing. Okay, their sight is
Even by hunting rabbits.
Yeah,
that's hard.
It's really rewarding.
It's really rewarding and hard, and you're in the elements. In many cases, you're in their backyard. They've got all the advantages.
Yeah.
So when you do take one, there is that sense of achievement. It's not some sort of unfair advantage you have over this animal.
And when it's an invasive species, they need to go anywhere. We're literally paying people to remove.
Yeah.
Well, and that's our point of difference. Like we have this hunting bill at the moment where we're saying either we pay for someone to remove them or we can remove them too. We can use them. They don't use them, whereas we want to use them.
And why is it so wrong that while we're helping with the invasive species problem, we're enjoying it?
Yeah, exactly.
We're out there in the bush.
Yeah.
Getting that R&R, getting that relaxation, getting back in touch with nature.
Yep.
And putting food on the table.
And they're using it. It is just ethically wrong to allow meat to rot.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Especially when it's just like kangaroos and like venison. They are like the top 2 meats in the world. Like David Pocock agrees. That's all he eats is kangaroo. Yeah. Because it's the highest protein, leanest meat. Best bang for your buck you can have.
Yep.
And someone like him who's still jacked.
A
politician. Yeah. That was when I read him say that many, many years ago. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I started paying attention to kangaroo meat. The price of kangaroo per kilo has not gone up. Everything's gone up except kangaroo. Yeah. People are not utilizing it. Like, it's just not. It goes to pets, for goodness sake.
I know.
It's too good to go to pets.
Yeah. And like WA, I did a reel on how to cook a rootail.
I saw that. What in the supermarket?
Yeah. And I was searching the supermarkets high and low all through Western Australia. All that stuff is sourced from another state.
Yeah.
And I ended up speaking to the meat department in WA.
It was red kangaroo tail, wasn't it? It was too big to be a...
Yeah. So the one I bought in Meekatharra said red kangaroo. No, I bought one in Wilcannia. Anyway, they were not from the state fence. There's 2 different ones. There's a story. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but long and short, there's not an industry for harvesting kangaroo meat. You can't legally buy kangaroo meat in WA that was sourced in WA.
Oh.
Yeah, but there isn't enough demand for it to have a commercial provider that would want to do it. So I spoke to the WA guy and said, no, we don't ban it. It's just I think there's only one guy left down in Walpole and I tried to find it. So I was just desperate to find some bloody kangaroo, but
Yeah.
because I wanted to cook it in red dirt
Yeah.
before I came back this side of the country.
Yeah.
And that's why I investigated that a bit. But it's crazy. It should be easy to access this food. They're being removed for environmental reasons.
Yep.
Legitimate environmental reasons, and they're just rotting on the ground. It's just nuts.
Well, again, like the common sense of it is well, has no place in the politics of it, unfortunately. But we have systems like in New Zealand. They have, Fiordland in New Zealand.
Yeah.
One of the most inaccessible places in the world. And they have a meat donation system every year when they have the Fiordland Wapiti ballot, and they retrieve, I don't know, hundreds of tons of meat in a year.
Yeah.
And that all has to get chopped out at the expense of the hunters. And then the government doesn't, I'm not 100% whether the government is part of it at all, but it's almost completely NGO donations of time and money, people, so they can redonate that meat.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, why wouldn't governments get behind that?
Well, you'd be pleased to know that the Environment Minister is happy to look into it. Also, we were talking about it with the other, last week, and she said the same thing. She said she hated seeing these animals go to waste.
Yeah.
Well, they shoot them in the choppers. They just leave them on the ground,
Yeah.
and it just feeds the pigs, it feeds the foxes,
Yeah.
it feeds the wild dogs, and it's like, why aren't we bringing that meat home? Like, I'd happily shoot as many as we can. It's better for the ecosystem if I knew that meat was going to go to someone.
Yeah.
Whereas hunters now go, no, my freezer's full, so I'm going to stop. So they're de-incentivized to do good things for the.
You know how far a deer leg can go.
Oh yeah.
You stretch it out. So, like, how many people could that feed? If you don't put food back there,
and they keep it simple in New Zealand. They just mince it and send it out, and that's all you need to do.
Yeah, and because they can't eat that wasted meat, they go to the supermarket and buy meat which has had all that bad things about having to grow meat. Not having to crack at farmers, but it's just a waste to have to have land cleared, because we've got a growing population. Right? You have to clear more land, use more heavily industrialized land.
Yeah.
Because we're not using that meat. If we ate all that meat, we could allow that land to be more useful, more ecologically useful.
But it's not going to drop the demand for that.
No. There's always going to be
for steak,
land.
pork,
great.
Yeah. But that demand's never going to drop. But if they have that land, they have kangaroos and deer. Full stop.
Particularly with our population continually growing, and that is the thing. Honestly, I think environmentally we need to stop our population growth.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the land, but also for our quality of life.
Yeah.
Like, if you agree that it's not a good idea to clear land for housing, then you have to go up. If you go up, like when I'm talking medium density housing, we're looking at Singapore. I don't want to live in Singapore.
No.
New York. I don't like New York.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't like it when I was there.
More people, more rules. There's more people trying to surf your break. They're not creating more beaches. There are more rules in national parks.
Yeah.
Our quality of life is going down with the population going up. It's got nothing to do with race.
No. No.
But it's branded as race, so you can't talk about it.
Look, from my side, it's and this is because I'm from a younger generation where now, and we see it in the numbers, how that younger generation now has all the metrics lower than the previous generation.
Yeah.
They haven't got it better. So we keep rather than admiring our culture or admiring our country, we admire the economy. Yeah. So they have to have this perpetual economic growth all the time. So that's basically where it's coming from. So if people aren't having babies, you need to import people. And it's just, we need to constantly be growing. It's like, well, do we?
Yes.
Because what cost?
Yep.
So that's where, like, I went to my 20-year anniversary a couple of years ago from leaving school, and some of the guys lived in the country. And I'm like, so what took you out there? And they're like, oh, this and that, or I met this person, or there was more jobs out there, or whatever it was. This one guy that really stuck with me, he said, I married this girl. She was from the Central West, and she always talked to me about Big Sky. And she came into Sydney, and when they got together, she was like, I don't like it here because there's no Big Sky. And then he moved out there, and they live on a probably a 30 or 40 acre block. And he's like, man, it's just a different Australia.
Yeah.
It's just it's different. And if we have to start going up, as you say, we're going to have Australians, that stereotype of the Australian. No one thinks that it's someone that lives in high rise.
Yeah.
They all think it's people that are outdoorsy. Honestly, I think it's more like you than more like me, because you're someone who's out there all the time, crocodile Dundee, whatever you want to say. But it's more of that outdoorsy person, but then we're pushing people to be more urbanized.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a crying shame.
And it's not making people happier by urbanizing.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that Big Sky, it's good for your head, it's good for your heart, it's good for your body, it's good for everything. So, yeah, too much common sense here. It's just worrying. Yeah.
maybe around it. Where's the next adventure?
Well, I'm focused on the roadshow tour because it's its own adventure. So I have got a couple of ideas that come in, but I try to keep the blinkers on because once I get the next adventure, I just can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, have the planning starts. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And I need to devote my single channel processor to this stuff. But I'm looking forward to. I'm going to switch more to YouTube. Quicker turnaround, quick adventure here. Follow that opportunity there, rather than like big years that it takes to make a feature film.
Okay.
So, and it also means I think social media content wise, I'll keep doing stuff on Instagram because it's a different audience to YouTube. But I reckon YouTube is the main place.
Yeah. The biggest stuff. That's really cool. Thanks so much for talking to us.
No worries.
This has been an education. And also, so I think we might hang out tomorrow and see how the sausage is made.
Yeah. So you guys have invited me to State Farmer, and I'm keen to have a look because honestly, you're talking about upper house and lower house. I'm like, I'll learn about that at school.
And that's another side. Yeah. So many people don't.
The most bizarre workplace in the world.
It is, and it is the people's place.
Yeah.
And so many people don't go in there and just see what it's like, see how the sausage is made.
And so what I was planning on doing actually, at least I'll do stories saying, hey, I want to go in here and just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And I want to just bring people on my learning journey, which is I'm down here from the knowledge.
Yeah.
At least it'll be a little bit higher. It's a little bit embarrassing showing how little I do know.
Yeah.
But you're not alone in that. It is a bit of a mystery. Unless you're involved in politics, it's a mystery to a lot of people. So you bringing yourself along, they're also bringing a lot of other people along.
Exactly.
So it's important. More people don't understand how the sausage is made. The better the sausage can be made.
Yeah, because the sausages aren't tasting very good.
No, that's right. That's right.
We can all agree on that. We can all agree on that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Mike. Yeah. And I've got that venison leg for you.
Oh, yeah, beauty.
It's in the freezer.
Awesome. Thanks. I might cook that. I'll make a reel about that.
Well, it's a big red deer leg from down south. So it's a big.
Oh, so you go to the new one.
One of the ones that Luke got. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Actually, just
That's it for this episode. If you like what you heard, give us a follow and share with your mates. And if you don't, you're probably from the Greens. We'll catch you next time. And remember, speak up, stand up, and keep your powder dry.